club is awesome.
I heard you say it's weird that it's called forensics.
Yeah.
Because you think of forensic science.
Yeah.
Okay. Did she explain why it's called forensics?
No, she was just
Okay.
saying that.
Yeah, it's speech. It's competitive speech, debate, and drama. Aristotle, he taught 3 forms of rhetoric mainly: forensics, epideictic, and deliberative.
Okay.
Deliberative is when you argue about the future, like when lawmakers are deciding what kind of policies should be put in place. They deliberate over what is needed in the future.
Okay.
Epideictic is a speech of praise or blame, where you laud something or someone, or criticize something or someone, argue something's good or bad. And forensics is the kind of argument that argues whether something happened in the past or not, which is why it's the kind of argument used in courts of law. You're arguing, did this person murder that guy in the past or not?
Yeah.
Forensic science is, of course, the science, DNA, etc., to be extracted to be used as evidence in forensics, which are law arguments. Well, what happened is law schools, they started having forensics clubs, because that's what lawyers in law schools did, is they practiced forensic argumentation. So they created a club called forensics, where they would just go out and debate for the sake of practicing the art of it. Then it evolved into what we do today, which is debate, speech, and drama. So that's why it's called forensics.
That's really cool. I would never even put any of that together. I would have just thought it was something like
Weird
that.
word, yeah, but it's related. But we had the term first before forensic science.
Well, that's really cool. So what is forensics to you?
Well, to me, it's expression and communication, and it's about teaching people the art form in that. Of course, we have straight up speeches, which are about content and organization and presentation and elocution and being very confident. Then we have our drama events. And what I love about the drama events is that it forces, an 18 or 19-year-old to step into the shoes of someone else. They might be doing a poetry program on a person who's struggling with losing their religion. And they maybe have never experienced that, but they can through the literature. Or they might be doing a short monologue, a play, about a person who's struggling with cancer.
Oh, and so they're acting.
It's definitely acting. So just like on a stage, except everything's under 10 minutes, no props, no costumes. So everything is just voice, face.
Really? Is that really hard since you can't use a cup of tea or anything? You can't use a phone?
We can be extremely limited. We have to mind things, so we have to learn to do that well. Like if you're going to pretend to be drinking, you have to do that kind of thing.
You can't just hold it.
Right. There wouldn't be a real cup, of course. So that is a challenge. I try to find literature that can work in that environment. There are some plays and stuff that you couldn't understand without the scenery and the setting.
Right.
So I know it's my phone. You want to get it and just say Krista's office? Thanks. Just say Krista Applequist's office. Oh, that's okay.
Thank you so much. I'm really sorry.
Oh, no problem. No, we're glad to help you with your project.
Yeah, well, thank you. What are one of the benefits of forensics, besides the whole public speaking aspect coming out of it?
Okay, well, in addition to understanding other people's shoes, there would be the knowledge they gain from just their topics.
Yeah.
Angelica is doing a persuasive speech, for example, on how our police force is being more and more militarized. So she's learning about this issue. She's going to know it on a whole new level than just what you'd hear from ABC News.
Yeah.
So there's just the knowledge gained. Yakub, for example, he's practicing impromptu speaking. So he's learning how to, that's where the student draws a topic and has 2 minutes to think and create a 5-minute speech.
Oh, wow.
Right, it's hard. But he's learning to speak on his feet and to, express and verbalize things just on the spot. So there's, of course, those skills of verbosity and just knowing their subject, stepping into the shoes of someone else. I would also say just participating on a team also helps them just learn to work with other people.
Yeah.
That can be its own challenge, just like any sports team or anything like that.
Right.
You really have to learn how to resolve conflicts and how to be a part of a group and learn that your presence and your actions matter to other people.
Do you feel that a lot of people that you coach all become friends afterwards?
Not always.
Oh, really?
So very much so. There are some unbreakable bonds that will be formed.
Yeah.
There are some enemies that will be made. This activity is competitive. So, and we're one of the top schools.
That's awesome.
So when we send, say, 6 people in persuasive speaking, only one person out of all the community colleges in Illinois is going to get first place at this tournament.
Wow.
And I'm sending 6 people. So they're obviously, and half the time, they're each other's strongest competition. So they're competing against each other sometimes more than the outside people. So it can be a real character building experience to learn how to support your teammate. I hope you do well, not that well, you know. It can be a real character building experience. So yeah, they get very, very close. The bond with us, coaches, is really strong as well. We get to know them almost like a family.
Yeah, I would see that. You guys are together a lot.
Oh yeah, all the time cramped in this office.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be in a van cramped, and then we're gonna be in hotel rooms and. Yeah.
Wow. So like when you guys are in the hotel rooms, like do you like room with like other coaches and they all kind of like room together?
The coaches, I room with the other coaches, or my own room, depending on how big the team is and how much extra money we have.
Nice.
And then the team, it's obviously boys in a room and girls in a room, or women and men, I should say. And yeah, the rule is, you know, lights out at 11, and I've had teams that are really serious and lights are out at 11, and then I've had teams where I can hear them laughing and goofing around through the wall at like midnight, and I'll call the room and be like, and I hear them through the wall go, shh, 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 she's calling, and then they pick up the phone like, hello? Like, yeah, I did not just wake you up. I did not just wake you up.
That's awesome.
So, like I said, they are actors, so you have to be careful.
You gotta know who you're dealing with. So when do you guys practice?
Randomly, whenever we are so random with our practice hours. Okay, it's not high school where we own them every Tuesday and Thursday from 3 to 5. I wish. It's community college. People have all these different classes. The coaches have all these different classes.
Right.
So I post coaching hours on Facebook.
Nice.
So I'll say I can come in this day at this time, and they respond and claim their spot.
Okay.
And then I'll grab certain people and say, you know, you'll coach Monday at noon. And there are way more people who are willing to work hard and need practice than there are coaches and hours available.
Oh, shoot.
So I'm sort of always treating it like a triage situation, where I'll think like, I'll be planning my coaching hours for Sunday, and I'll think, okay, this person's informative speech really needs help. I'm going to make sure I schedule 2 hours with that person. And I'm going to blow off this person this week because they're pretty good. They don't need that much help. And so it's a struggle.
Yeah.
So, but we set it up, and we start to kind of create a pattern of sorts after a while.
What events do you coach?
Both coaches coach every event.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I was a competitor, I only competed in impromptu speaking, persuasion, informative, prose interpretation, and poetry interpretation. So that was my limit. But as a coach, you learn how to do other things. Like one of my favorite events to coach is actually the humorous speech.
Oh, really?
Just to sit, because that has like a thesis, sort of like a persuasive paper, but it's on like a more lighthearted topic. Like, for example, Luke is actually writing a speech to entertain about the zombie obsession in our culture.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so there's a thesis. And there's a lot of psychology behind that, and a lot of...
For sure.
It goes deeper than just fun zombies. And but we're going to make jokes and things like that throughout the speech.
So if you don't make like a judge laugh with that...
Oh, yeah.
Like
That's the aim. In that event, every event has its judging paradigm or judging standards. Hey, Kelly, I think Yaku might need the computer. Sorry. Every event has its judging paradigm. So, for example, the humorous speech to entertain, they're looking for a thesis. Do you have a meaningful message? Obviously not as serious as militarization of police, but something more significant in maybe a social way. And are you funny? So it's about the person. Can they deliver a joke? And it's about the joke content, of course, and then the thesis. And I think Angelica might have explained this, so you can cut this if you need to. But did she explain how we sort of operate like a track meet?
He was saying that.
Yeah. There's 11 speaking events, and then several different kinds of debate. So, and the speaking events, like I said, there's the drama category, public speaking, and the limited preparation, which means like what he's doing.
Yeah, that is amazing. I don't know how, because I'm imagining you have to do it like more proper. You can't just be like, oh, like this, like that.
Right.
Which could be so tough.
Right. You get good at it through practice. And of course there's a formula. Everything has a formula.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, a good speech to entertain, like I said, has the thesis and then the jokes throughout. The impromptu speaking, of course, has an attention getter. You state your topic, you preview your points, you go into each point. You have a pop culture example, you have a historical example, you have a current events example, and then any one of the above again. Everything has its formula.
Well, that's pretty cool, and it makes it easier to figure out. Without that, be lost. Do you feel as if your club isn't well recognized as it should be?
You know, that's always a problem with forensics in most schools. Most people go, forensics, what?
Yeah, which is what I was like.
Yeah, people are always saying, you know, are your students cutting up dead bodies? I was like, look, I can't chaperone them all the time, but they're supposed to be practicing speeches. So yeah, it's tough. People understand sports, you know, that makes sense, but they don't always recognize forensics or speech team. We try to promote. We have shows, and we always get mentioned in the newspaper, and amongst faculty and administration, they circulate newsletters about, you know, our successes and everything, so they know.
Mm-hmm.
Do all the students on campus realize what we are, or that we even exist? I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I feel like that, like now, like talking to you guys, I feel that it's an awesome club. It would be so cool if everyone knew about it, because everyone would go to these shows, because it sounds like it could be a really cool thing. All these kids are just acting and doing this stuff, but I feel like no one really, you know, knows about it.
Knows about it, right?
But that's cool. I wish that more people did know about it. We should try to like do something for that, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to get the message across. They explain it at freshman orientation, but it's kind of one of those, I think you need to see it.
Yeah.
So we should probably send one of you guys out to freshman orientation. That would make more sense.
That'd be really cool. Yeah. All right. Is there any other questions you have? All right. Well.